And let me tell you about my guest, the one and only Kimberly Dvorak, D-V-O-R-A-K. She is an award-winning national security border security investigative reporter for TV, radio, and the print media. She has so many awards all over the place. Kimberly is also the senior foreign policy advisor for the Committee for Responsible Foreign Policy. And she's a TV correspondent for CW6 News San Diego, as well as One America News Network. Her website is the KD Report, the KDReport.com. And she's streaming as we speak, Periscope.com and Facebook. Later on, you'll find her on YouTube. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? How are you?
Well, I'm not coughing and I don't have a fever, so all is good here.
Interesting thing here, we're going to be talking about Mexico and coronavirus spread, restricting the border. And remember when, I almost said Colonel Sanders. Remember when Sanders, he was on that Fox News town hall, and they asked the question if he would close the U.S. border to protect Americans from a viral spread. And his answer, no.
Yep. Yeah.
No. And why? He said, because doing so would be in the spirit of a president who has propagated xenophobic anti-immigration sentiment even before he was elected.
Yeah.
Boy, everything has to lead to Trump, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was astonishing to watch what happened last night. I watched, not all of it, but almost all of it. I missed the beginning. But to see two men up there, obviously white guys, and obviously in their later 70s, they both would be at risk if they're out in the general public with this coronavirus. I mean, we know that Sanders had a heart attack a couple months ago. Joe Biden looks like he's undergone a lot of cosmetic surgery and is showing signs that he doesn't even remember where he is or was. It's embarrassing to see that. Yep, exactly. It's embarrassing for the Democrats because they're saying to the American public, this is the best we have. This is what we think is going to get us into the White House. And if they think that debate last night went over and that it was a guarantee these guys are going to be, beat President Trump, they're crazy. I mean, Americans you can only lie so much and you can only stay away from the camera so much. So both of them are in front of cameras every day. And it's like I said, I think it's pretty embarrassing that that's what the Democrats are going to put up, that they're going to, just two more old guys. So it's
What is that? What is that amendment or whatever that they have? Whenever somebody was going to wear a wire and go in and talk to Trump and show you how he was mentally unstable to be president.
Yeah.
Is it a 25? Is that what it's called?
The what? I'm sorry.
Is it called the Amendment 2025?
I don't know. I don't know that. I just know that they proposed wearing a wire.
I mean, if you look at the way Biden acts,
yeah,
and all the things they would just like to, like misspeaks, yeah. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump is not even close to that.
Yeah. Well, and he's
yeah. But I'm running for the Senate.
Yeah, and he's younger too. So, so he's younger as well. So, but anyways, it's pretty sad that that's what they're talking about. And, I think bringing the border issue into it, I think, that the media would do well to start talking about, securing our southern border and northern border. And Mexico actually is already considering this, but it's not to prevent people from leaving their country. They want to shut down the northern border so Americans who may have the virus don't go to Mexico, because there's been 0 deaths of coronavirus people in Mexico right now. So, they have a 0 deaths on this front. And
what do you say, the 16
yeah.
cases only?
Yeah. So they're looking at saying, hey, we don't want the sick Americans coming south of the border. And and opening up this dialogue, it's just it should be flowing that direction right now. We should be severely worried about what's coming across that southern border. We don't know. Last week we talked about the 666 Bangladeshis that were found and crossing the border illegally. These, this is something where the president could actually check off of the, the checklist here for the election and shut that border down and or ensure that everybody that comes in has to be tested. And that would be very expensive. It would be time consuming, and it would really slow, traffic coming across that southern border. But this is the best opportunity. We often say, don't let a good crisis go to waste. Well, this is where President Trump can use his executive order and do something on that southern border.
Chuck Wilder, CRN, with Kimberly Dvorak, Senior Foreign Policy Advisor for the Committee for Responsible Foreign Policy. I noticed in your latest report, Kimberly, that I guess China kind of getting a hold on it. And,
yeah.
So they've closed their temporary hospitals or something.
Yep, like they have. I was just looking at the numbers here now in China as a result of this virus coming out of them. They had 80,000 people as of this weekend that were ill with this coronavirus 19, and they had 3,100 people die from that. Let's take this into consideration. As of the weekend, I'm looking at the numbers here from the CDC. Now, they predicted, this is what they predicted before the flu season. The CDC predicted that 34 million people would be infected with some sort of virus. They didn't have that obviously name picked out for it, but here we are today. So 34 million to 50 million people would get the flu this year in the United States, just the United States. And from October until today, the CDC also puts the numbers out for the people who die of the flu. So far from October to March, 17,000 Americans have died from the flu. So when you look at all of the hysteria and you look at the numbers, and that's kind of, what we really need to be focusing on here is that, people get the flu and people die from the flu. This is a flu. You've got people, scientists around the globe working on, solutions for this, and we will come up with it. And fortunately for America, we're heading into spring. And so winter is, in the review mirror, and people typically are outdoors, so they're not getting as sick as they are when they're indoors. That's the reality of this. And so far, it's that you can't say that the 50 people in this country that have died from coronavirus, it's very sad. Their families obviously lost a loved one. And you're going to be reminded about that every time you turn on the TV here. So it's just that it's the fact that, people are just overblowing this entire situation to the point where I guess we can't go out and eat at restaurants in New York now. It's a bit much for the numbers. And if you look at the hard numbers here, they don't lie. These are the numbers, and that's just not that many. We didn't close down this country when, for the 17,000 deaths we had. So obviously this one, we're going to shut everything down, trash the economy, and then we'll be able to pick up the pieces after they realize that, it was a little overrated. And, they're like the boy that cries wolf all the time. The, population of this country is just, they're being taken down, the river there. It's pretty sad what they're doing.
And I got to tell you, and I get a lot of flack for this, but look, when it comes to hyping something, okay, Russia collusion didn't happen.
Yep.
The impeachment didn't happen, and this is their last grasp, I guess. Last straw.
And the
it's serious.
Yeah.
But it's not as serious as flu,
17,000 in a span of 5.5 months, 17,000 have died. We didn't freak out about that back in Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Obama, under Obama, it was 16,001 H1, okay?
Yep.
Close to 17,000.
Yeah.
Well, Kimberly, we are all out of time.
Okay.
Look forward to our next visit, and I want the listeners to remember that website is thekdreport.com. Kimberly Dvorak.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands and don't touch your nose.
Yeah.
Okay.